Hi, welcome to the Hannah G Knits video podcast. This is a special edition conversation about knitting for babies and children. Thanks for joining. Hi, welcome back to the Hannah G Knits video podcast. This is a special episode where I am talking just about baby knits, kid knits, knitting as gifts for little ones in your life. And I'll be sharing my thoughts about them, kind of an overview of fibers that are great, a few examples of yarns, and then types of patterns that I think are great for kids and babies, and some that I've knit before. But before I get started, I do want to say this is not like a top 10 yarns or top 10 baby knitting patterns. If you're looking for that, I will have those in the next couple weeks, but this is more of a conversation and answering some of the questions that I've received recently via my YouTube comments or Instagram DMs, things like that. So it's more of just a conversation, and then after this one I'll have kind of specific yarns and specific patterns that I love for baby and kids knitting. So let's start with my philosophy for baby and kids knitting. This is perhaps a little bit unpopular, but basically I think that knitting for babies and kids is a great way to express love to them and express love to their parents as well. Whether it's your own children or for a gift. A lot of people have asked about gifts. So I'm kind of talking about gifts here, but it's a great way to use yarns that are new to you or patterns that are new to you, learn new techniques. But ultimately, the part where you enjoy it is the knitting, the making, and then once you give the knitted object away, it's no longer yours, it belongs to them, which can be scary when you put some time and money and energy and thought into a gift. But basically what I'm saying is the important thing for me to remember is that once I send them off in their little gift bag, they're no longer mine. They belong to that little person. So with that in mind, I want to help set you up for success when you're gift knitting. So 2 helpful things that I think about when I'm gift knitting or knitting for kids and children. The first thing is, does the parent know about knitting, crafting, sewing? If yes, then you can kind of think through, okay, they know yarn, they know these things. So when you're choosing your yarn and your pattern, that can be really helpful. If they don't know about knitting, fiber content, things like that, then you can help them by choosing a yarn that is maybe machine washable, or it holds up well to frequent wear, or whatever it's going to be put through by someone that may not know about yarn, knitting, things like that. So that's the first thing I would ask myself. The second thing is, don't be afraid to send your knit with instructions or to tell your child about their sweater. So if it's a gift, you can send the yarn label. That's super easy. You can use a little bulb stitch marker, attach it to the hat or blanket, and send the yarn label, yarn ball band, whatever, with it, because that will have washing instructions, that'll have fiber content, it'll have cool facts maybe about where the yarn's from, things like that. Super easy way to help the recipient know what to do. If it's your own child, not a baby obviously, but if it's your own child, you can, if you're worried about, the wear and tear or getting things on it, obviously those things will happen. But I think that it's important to remember, like, kids are people too. So if you tell your child, this is a special sweater that mommy or daddy or Aunt Abby made for you, and it's okay if you get things on it, I won't be upset, but we can treat it with special care because someone made it for us and they love us and we want to treat it with respect. I think that that's a great option as well. Obviously things will happen because, like, I get stuff on my own sweaters. They're gonna get things on their knits, but you can give them that little bit of, responsibility and pride that someone made this for them, that loves them, and it's a special thing to wear. So those are my top 2 things to set you up for success. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to fiber content, and after that I'll talk about some patterns I love. So I get this question a lot, and I see it a lot, and I find myself searching a lot for it. What type of yarn should I use for knitting for babies? So if you're a knitter, I would say just use your favorite yarn. You know yarn, and you know what you like to knit with, and you know what's good for a certain season, those kinds of things. Trust your instincts. Babies and children, like I said, they're people too, right? Like they go outside, they get hot, they want to take off their hat, or they're chilly and they need something extra warm. So if you know knitting, I would just trust your instincts. But I'm here to help a little bit with a few specifics. So wool. Wool's great because it's breathable and it helps regulate temperature. Those are great things for babies because they can't really regulate their temperature. So I think wool's always a great option, unless perhaps the baby's born in, the heat of summer. But you can always knit something they'll grow into later. So a lot of people tend to use superwash wool for babies. And I think that's great, or also for kids, because a lot of times like it's softer, so people like that. I do recommend maybe using a machine washable yarn, and the tags will often say that because people love to say, this yarn is machine washable, use it for your kids, or for, a busy parent that needs to just toss all their laundry in and can't be bothered to hand wash. So yarn labels will definitely say if it's machine washable because it's a great option. So a lot of times wool, like the superwash wool, will have that, a wool blend perhaps, but a lot of times your wools are going to be like hand wash if it's just 100% wool, or if it's like a wool alpaca. So some of my favorite wools for kids knitting, I have with me here these fun different colors. This is Cascade 220 Superwash. So I got this at my local yarn store, and I think it's a moderately budget-friendly option. Lots of times it goes on sale online. So great colors as well, fun for kids. Cascade 220 Superwash is a great superwash yarn. That's wool, it feels good, and it's supposed to hold up well. I've used it for a few things, a sweater for my son, and a few things I'll show later that are very, very cute. Perhaps for a child knit, I would just use like your favorite wool. So I knit a sweater for my son out of this yarn. It's not this color, but Good Wool by Pearl Soho. This is one of my favorite yarns for a sweater that I want to be sturdy and warm, but breathable. It's sport weight, so it's kind of light. It's a good in between. So I would recommend this for like a kid knit, even for a baby sweater. Maybe for a baby that is in a colder part of the country, or wherever you live. But again, I think that if you're a knitter, you know the yarns that you like, that you enjoy knitting with. So there are some things that are great to think about for a baby, but also for a child, just knitting with yarns you love and telling them you love the yarn you used. Okay, so we talked about wool, and I gave an option for superwash and non-superwash. Another thing that's popular is cotton. So cotton is great for accessories that are like unsized. So great for a blanket, great for maybe a bonnet. That might have a size, but any kind of like scrubby or little towel cloth kind of thing, cotton is a great option. Cotton is great because it's lightweight, perfect for summer, like 3 seasons of a blanket, perfect for baby. This is Pearl Soho Buttercup cotton. They have a lot of cottons, so I have used their different cottons a lot. And I really like them. I haven't knit up this one yet, but I have used one of the other cottons. There's a few different types. So there's mercerized cotton, which is going to be shinier, conventional cotton, which is more matte. trying to think, maybe a con for cotton is that it doesn't stretch. So I would not use cotton for a sweater with a small neck hole. I've made that mistake. It won't go over the baby's head, so you need at least a blend, a wool cotton blend or a wool for that because it'll stretch. Also, not socks because they'll just slide off. They have no stretch. So not socks, not a sweater, unless it's really loose, cotton sweater. Yes, so those are my recommendations. Otherwise, I think cotton's great. Like, I love it for a blanket. You can also find a lot of blends. I think those are good options for babies. And a lot of cotton is machine washable. This says machine wash cold, and you can even put it in the dryer. So a lot of cottons will have that option of machine washing and, I guess, drying. That's up to you whether you want to do that or not. One thing I would say is not to use mohair for babies. I think I have read that the little fibers can irritate their skin, or if they get in their mouth, they can cause little bumps, and that's for children under 1. So obviously you can use it for your kids, but I wouldn't gift a mohair something for a baby. Yes, those are the 2 popular fibers I see though, a lot of wool and a lot of cotton. There's also acrylic, which is fine. A lot of times that's machine washable, easy to find, budget friendly, great if you're making something that is like a large project, if you want to use a blend for that. A lot of companies brand their yarn towards baby knits. So if you go to a box store, you'll find yarn that says baby yarn or, soft for baby, whatever, that kind of thing. That's great. You can also just use regular yarn. You don't have to use a baby-friendly yarn. I tend to stick with the moderate price for my budget, so that's different for everyone, but I like the yarns that are more, they're available like online. You can find them maybe at your local yarn store. They might be at your box store. So Peyton's and Barocco yarn and Cascade, I think those have great options. Knit Picks, those all have great options of cotton, wool, even some marketed towards baby, and they're available, at least in the US, they're widely available. They have them at my local yarn store. They might be at yours. So those are the ones I like. There's also lots at the box stores. Lion brand has a lot of cotton options, can feel overwhelming, but great blends as well. And there's also, you can use hand-dyed yarn for your children if you'd like to. There's nothing wrong with that. It just depends on your budget and the availability and that kind of thing. But I tend to stick more with the Cascade and the Barocco, those kinds of brands. Okay, that's all I have to say about yarn. I'll link the specific yarns I mentioned in here, but this is just the conversation. Later on, I'll talk about specific yarns that I would recommend. So now for choosing a pattern. This can feel so overwhelming. You're scrolling through Pinterest, you're scrolling through Instagram. There's so many cute things to make. Some patterns are free, some aren't free. Some are just a baby size, some are baby to, 10 years old, that kind of thing. So it can be really hard to choose. And I feel like I see this question a lot. What should I knit for this baby? What should I gift them? I will be honest, I knit a lot of my own patterns. So I promise I'm not just trying to self-promote, but when my son was born, I realized I didn't love a lot of the patterns out there. Specifically, I saw a lot of patterns that were more feminine or marketed towards girls, and I just wanted something that was simple and I could pass it down to any child, and that kind of thing. So I started designing for him and making my own patterns and including things I like. So if it's a garment, I have a schematic available before purchase, that kind of thing. So that's why I'm going to talk about mine perhaps, but I do have other patterns that I've knit. But I want to give you a framework for choosing a pattern. So I'll talk about unsized accessories first. I think that's a great option for a gift because you don't have to worry, will they outgrow this? Will it fit when they're born? Will it fit during the right season? These are all things I've thought of and have happened to me. Like, I knit my son a sweater, and by the time it fit him, it was 100 degrees and it did not work out. So an unsized accessory is a great gift because even your own child, it's unpredictable what size they will be. So examples of this, so cute. Okay, so I made these for my son, little dinosaurs. I think they're so cute. I used the Cascade 220 superwash and then just regular fiber fill. And gosh, I just think they're so cute. I don't know, I just love them. Anyway, this is a Susan B. Anderson little dino pattern. So I think she has great patterns for kids. Lots of stuffed animals, every animal you could think of. So if your child has a special interest, or your niece or nephew, or just a little person you love and they love owls or bears or dinosaurs or whatever, I believe it's Bear at Woolco. There's so many options of sweet little accessories that you can make. This is kind of outside the box. I think when people say, I want to knit for a gift, you think sweater or hat. But I think to set yourself up for success, that something like this could be a good option. Another thing, this is one of my patterns, so it's like a little lovey. This is Ollie's Bear Lovey. It's like a blanket attached, see, just a blanket attached to a little bear head. There's other patterns like this on Ravelry. If you're looking on there, if you're able to use it, you can just search for like stuffed animal accessories, blankets, loveys. I think there's a category for that. So this is a good option because it's like a sweet little blanket, but also a little stuffed animal. Good opportunity to work on your skills. Both of these are lots of like picking up stitches. There was grafting, there's I-cord, there's increasing, decreasing, all kinds of fun things. And then this one, the one Ollie's pattern uses meter decreases, so I think those are fun. It even has short rows because it's like scalloped. Ooh, I gotta cut that end off. So another option, I think these are good options for babies because it's hard to know what size they're going to be. And then a blanket. I knit this for my son. I love this blanket. It's so soft. So this is the Chevron baby blanket by, ooh, I don't remember. It's a yarn store in Montreal. And I don't remember the name, but I'll link it in here. So it's a free pattern actually, and it's super fun. And I modified it a little bit to work with the yarn that I chose, but it's a great pattern. Super easy to follow, lots of tutorials. I really enjoyed knitting it. I used Pearl Soho cotton, and I'm really happy with it. I haven't washed it. It says it's machine washable. I haven't washed it yet. But yeah, it's great for stroller walking and yeah, just overall looking really cute in his nursery. So I think gifting a blanket is a great option because you don't have to make a giant one. When Ollie was born, he just laid on this. It's a good size for like tummy time or just laying on your back, laying out at the park, on the grass. Yes, so I think a blanket, a miniature blanket even, is a really good option for gifting. Let's see. Other patterns. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to ideas for a sized accessory. So this is like hats, socks, things like that. There are a lot of free patterns out there. Like free patterns are great and they make knitting more accessible perhaps, but there is something to be said for a paid pattern that's been tech edited, test knitted, all of that, even for a child, because yes, I just think that that's something I really care about because obviously I design for children and my patterns are paid for, but I just would caution you to be careful to find a pattern that has everything you're looking for, even if it is free. Okay, so I love hats for babies. So cute, right? Their heads grow so fast though. So if you make one, I would say just make, the second size. If it goes baby child, then just make baby. But if it goes newborn, 6 months, 12 months, it depends on what you want. If you want the child to wear it for a long time, I would make a bigger size, and it might be really big when they're born, but that's so cute, right? So cute when they're too big. Everything I made my son was too big because he was tiny when he was born. So a few hat patterns. Pearl Soho has a great ribbed hat pattern that is free, and I'll link that. I like it because ribbing stretches. So a hat with cables or color work, things like that, may not be your best option for a baby because it's not going to stretch and you need some stretch. Another option, this is one of my patterns, but a bear hat. All these bear hat, super cute. I love it. I made a ton of sizes, so you can make a bunch if you want. But I think for a baby, this is so cute with little ears, but also for, you know, a child that is older, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, whatever. This is a great option to gift because it's fun. Who doesn't love bear ears? I have also seen bonnets. The Beloved bonnet is a great option. I believe it's paid for, but it's by Tin Can Knits, and I see that everywhere for babies. If you're just looking for a simple gift that you can use, you know, whatever yarn you like. I don't remember the weight, but I will link it below. I have not knit it personally, but I have just seen a ton of them. And yeah, they look super cute. So those are my hat ideas. I also have, for if you're looking for a gift for an older child, I do have a pattern that's a satchel. And I don't have it with me, but I'll put a picture up here. So it has 3 different sizes, and you can choose, you know, for your child or niece, nephew, whatever. You can choose a different size. So I love the idea of a satchel. My nephew wears his all the time. He loves putting things in it. He carries everything around. It's so cute. My son has just started, you know, walking really regularly, so I think I'm gonna give him his satchel to start putting his rocks and leaves that he picks up, and so that he and his dad and I don't have to carry them. But it's a great thing, right? To be like, okay, it's yours. You can put it in your bag, or you can bring your crayon, but it goes in your bag. So anyway, I think a satchel is a fun gift for a kid. And there's also lots of bags. Petite Knit has a lot of bags. You can just give them to your child, even though they're marketed for adults. So bags are super fun. Pearl Soho also has, I don't know if they're free, might be free, but sized bags as well. So those are super fun. I love that idea for like an older child that you want to knit for. Okay, I think this is what everybody's looking for, sweater pattern ideas for kids. For what it's worth, this is my 2 cents. I have knit sweaters as gifts. I have knit sweaters for my own child in expectation of their birth. I don't know, while they are the most popular, I don't know that it is the best option for a newborn. Socks are great options for newborns. Socks are great options for babies because you just put them on their little feet and they're just so cute, and they don't wear shoes, so I think they're perfect. But a sweater is hard. It's fun, right, to think about a little baby in a little sweater. Practically, I don't know that it's the best option. I want to set you up for success. Like, I don't want you to be disappointed because, like, I knit my nephew a sweater. It didn't fit over his head. It was sad. It's okay though, right? It's okay. It's fine. But just something to think about. It might not happen to you. It might. So anyway, those are my 2 cents. Not to not knit a sweater, but to think about it carefully. Like perhaps knit a size up, or knit in a stretchy fabric that's very stretchy, or, you know, make the neckline really, really big, or make the sleeves extra long so they can be rolled up. If you're looking for the child to get wear out of the sweater. If it's just for cute pictures and it has their initial on it, then it does not matter. Just knit up something really cute and they can wear it once and whatnot. But if you're looking for significant wear, that's what I'm here to help with. So I have a free pattern, Flax Tin Can Knits. I think everyone knits this. They have a fingering weight version. They have a heavier weight version. It's a great option because they have excellent tutorials. If you're a newish knitter and you're trying to branch out and say, okay, I've been knitting a little bit, I want to make this sweater for my new little person in my life, then I think it's a great option. They have short row options and also non-short row options. But I knit this one for my son. So cute, right? So this is the Cascade 220 and it's superwash. And this is the one I knit him, and then it didn't fit until it was this summer, so sad. But I believe this is the baby size, so it's kind of big. And my son was really small, so he could have worn it, but we didn't really go out much when he was first born because it was very, very COVID-y here. And so anyway, and it was in the winter. He was born in a very cold time. When we got delayed at the hospital because there was like an ice storm and we couldn't go home. So anyway, it was cold. But so he didn't get that much wear out of this, but it's fine. I'm keeping it, and I can pass it on to a cousin or whatever. But yeah, it has a great neckline, good stretch. This would fit over his head even now, I think. So that's something really good. So I like this pattern overall. It didn't fit well, but I like how you can customize it here. You could do a duplicate stitch, like put their initial or an animal or whatever, some flowers, embroidery. So I do really like that. I think it's super cute to make customize for a little person. So I also have a pattern for a sweater from baby to 10 years old. So if you're looking for kids, similar to the Flax, it has a lot of sizes. So let me see which is the front. Okay, here we go. So tuck that in. So some things I like about this pattern, this is the baby size. So it fit my son this year. So I like this detail here. So I made the sleeves extra long, which you can always add as a modification, but they're extra long so you can fold them up. So if you want the sweater to get a lot of wear, this is a good option because kids grow fast, right? You can always add extra sleeve length and extra body length. Where's the body? Extra body length if you want. So those are modifications you can add. Good stretch here, the head hole. If you are looking at the Flax, because it's free, but also mine, it offers, I do have the schematic up front, so you can like measure, will this be a good fit for my 4-year-old, even though the pattern size says 6 years old. I love that because, again, I want you to have a sweater that fits. I want you to be successful in your knitting. So anyway, that's something to look for if you're looking for patterns. I know Petite Knit is a really popular pattern designer for all ages, right? She has baby, small, junior. She has lots of different sizes available. You do have to buy every pattern, right? I don't love that, but that is her business, and that's how she structured it. And but they're very cute, right? She has some very cute options. They are separated by gender, so even more patterns to buy. But yes, those are really popular. If you haven't seen those, she has so many cute ones. Coming home set, there's bloomers or like little pant things and so much cute stuff. Little summer t-shirts for older kids. The teddy bear sweater is very popular. I've seen that a lot. Super cute. Something that I will offer as an alternative is a slipover. So Petite Knit has some kids slipovers. I have a kid slipover. Ollie got the most wear out of this winter. If I'm thinking about, what was actually a practical wear for him. He loved his bear hat, but he also wore this slipover all the time. You can see it's like pilling a little bit. I just used one of my favorite yarns for this. I did not use superwash yarn or something marketed as a baby yarn, even though he's a baby. I just used a yarn that I know and that I love, and I'm happy with how it turned out. and that he wore it. So this is Ollie's everyday slipover. He wore this for like Christmas Eve service. I put like a little Christmas tree on it. I put a heart on it for Valentine's Day. I put a Mickey on it for his birthday. So just like duplicate stitch and then took it out. So I love the idea of a slipover because it's not a full sweater, so it's quite an investment. It's super cute. It's also not as warm if you're worried about like your baby or your child like getting hot in the car or whatever. It doesn't have sleeves. So I have seen they're starting to be more popular, slipovers for kids, but I think a lot of the big brand patterns have them. A lot of the Scandinavian pattern designers have slipovers. I like this idea of like a slipover for a child because it's like everyday wear. You can just wear it wherever or throw it on. So that's my alternative option. Would be a cute little slipover for a kid. Like if you have an 6-year-old nephew and you want to make them something, but you're running out of time, whatnot, slipover. So anyway, those are my thoughts on sweaters for kids. I say go for it if you want to. If you're worried about the fit, maybe go for something else like socks or a hat. I love this gift knitting ideas, and I love that so many people are saying, I want to knit something for this little person that I love so much that's coming into the world. It's like making me tear up thinking about all of you guys knitting for your little people. So this was just a conversation, things to think about. If you are, a knitter, I say trust yourself. You know what yarns you like. If you know the person you're knitting for, whether they have time to hand wash or they need to use the machine or that kind of thing. So you can do it. You're doing great. If you're looking for, some validation or a sign that you should do it and you can do it and you're capable, this is it. I'm saying you can do it. Trust yourself. I think you can do it. So I will link the yarn ideas and the pattern ideas. Be on the lookout for more specific like tin yarns or tin patterns, that kind of thing. I will share those, but I wanted to start it with a conversation about it. I know my opinions may not be that popular, but I say overall my philosophy is knitting for a baby is special and they may only be able to wear it for a week. So think about, what's important to you and what's important to their parents. And then knitting for your kids is awesome too. They may only wear it for a year, but use the yarn you love. Use the yarn they love. Let them pick it out. Like that's fun, right? Like there's so many colors and fun patterns, and I love it. I think it's so special that you can gift someone something that you made. So, and little people know it too, right? Like when they're wearing something that mom or dad or whoever made them. That's so special. So anyway, I love knitting for kids, if you can't tell. Okay, so that was this very long conversation about knitting for kids, something that I care about and I'm passionate about. So there will be more episodes about this. And I know I could not have answered all of your questions. So if you have more, ask them in the comments. Let me know if this was helpful at all. Basically, I just want to instill some confidence for you before you get started on choosing a yarn or a pattern. It can be scary when you look at the yarn and it all says baby friendly or whatever, or all the patterns say free, use this one, and just have no idea. So I will offer some specific ideas because sometimes it's easier to just have someone say, here, knit this. Yes, so thanks for joining, and I'll see you maybe next week. We'll see, with a regular podcast, and then maybe the next week with another baby edition, kid edition as well. Yes, okay, thanks for joining and have a great weekend.